There are several tough questions asked in this movie. One of the questions that stayed with me is that does the media report the truth, or is the truth decided by the media and then reported? That's the kind of movie Janagana Mana is. It asks tough questions that invokes an emotional response from you, the viewer, as an Indian citizen. There are questions of law, justice, freedom, individuality, identity, etc. discussed here. And most importantly, what does it truly mean to live in a democracy? Janagana Mana is a socio-political thriller that makes you think as much as it makes you cheer for the protagonist, along with thrilling you with genuine twists and turns that you least expect. Before I started shooting for this review, I kept asking myself, how do I go into certain details to talk about different plot points without giving away spoilers? Because this movie has a lot of spoilers, especially in the second half. If I were to say anything, it would take away from the experience that you will when you watch this movie. So I'm going to do my best to present the plot in the most non-spoilerish way as I can. The main story is set in Karnataka in the year 2019. A burnt body of a woman is found on the side of the road. The police investigate and find out it's actually a college professor teaching at one of the most premier educational institutes in Bangalore. As per their findings, she was brutally raped and then burnt to death. The case is then assigned to ASP Sajjan, played by a phenomenal Suraj Vanyaramodu. The case becomes sensational and is reported on a national basis, with people from various parts of India weighing in their opinions and suggestions on what needs to be done. There's also political unrest within the city. You see, the professor students who are emotionally hurt by this news also get involved in the situation. There are various public protests leading to an altercation with the police, which is again reported by the media and sensationalized, almost reflecting real life events. We've all come across news of rapes and how it has affected various people across the country. Director DeJoe does a phenomenal job in capturing all of these different aspects and bringing it on screen. There is social media outrage, there is public outrage, there is media outrage, and of course the police and various political parties responding to the situation. It's fast-paced storytelling and absolutely riveting to watch all these activities play out on screen. Suraj Vanyaramodu is a national award winner, but what we see here, I think, is another career best performance. He's simply outstanding in the first half of this movie. There were points when I asked myself if this is the same actor who did those hilarious rib-tickling roles that we saw him do over a decade ago, usually as the sidekick to the hero. But what you see here is a complete 360-degree transformation. He's a police officer investigating a high-profile case, commanding respect and authority not just from his fellow officers but also from the students and other people that he meets. He in fact makes a promise to the mother of the victim, saying that he will arrest the guilty party within a period of 30 days. And within 26 days of thorough police investigation, he actually nabs the guilty people and starts gathering evidence. However, there's a twist in the story, and I can't really say that without giving away another spoiler. So I'm just simply going to say that this twist leads to Suraj Vanyaramodu's character kind of becoming the guilty party. And the second half of the movie deals with that situation. So where is Prithviraj in this movie? Well, that's also a spoiler which I can't talk about, but I'm going to say this much: it's completely worth it. I'll give you a hint. If you've seen Manichitrathazhu, at what point is Mohanlal's character introduced in that movie? Similarly, or something like that, Prithviraj's character is introduced in this movie as well. That's all I'm going to say, because rest of it is spoiler. It's actually, you need to experience in the movie, because the highest point of this movie is that, there is excellent storytelling. The narrative process on how different twists and turns or different points in the story are introduced are perfect. That's the only way to say it, because when you're completely engrossed in a story, it's going in one way, suddenly there's a twist, and it's not like it comes out of nowhere. They have laid the groundwork for it earlier on. So when it happens, it makes sense. And like I said, there are several emotional moments in the movie that awakens the I wouldn't say revolutionary, but it awakens the human spirit in you that speaks to your identity, or as an Indian citizen and as a responsible citizen. Okay, final thoughts and rating. When they introduced the teaser and trailer for this movie, they said that they're showing clips from the second part of the movie. And yes, there is a part 2. The way the story ends, it definitely gives hints and a few teasers also of what's to come from part 2. You kind of get a few scenes and things like that. So yeah, but what I was saying was that I understand why they did that, because this movie has a lot of spoilers. In fact, right in the introduction, like 5 minutes into the movie, a certain spoiler happens, and I wasn't expecting that, but that's what happens. So I get it why they use the clips from the second part of the movie. There are a lot of spoilers, and in fact, people who are reviewing this movie, I hope they somehow manage to keep away from the spoilers. Like everything I've said so far, they aren't too much of a spoiler. That's what I believe. They're just basic story elements here and there that gives you an idea of what to expect, and that's what I'm trying to share also here. Now I have a small few complaints also. In the second half, especially when certain things are revealed and as the story is progressing, there is a point when you realize, yeah, I get it, I understand, and that's the perfect point to kind of cut that scene and move on to another scene actually. But they kind of go on for a long time. There are a few sequences in the movie where the big reveal, a few reveals happen, and that's when you kind of understand the whole story. And you reach a point where like, okay, I got it, I get it. But they keep going again and again. There's another 2-3 minutes in that scene. I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's move on. There are a few scenes like that in the movie. These are just minor stuff. It's not a big issue or anything. There's also the Janagana Mana anthem that, when the movie was introduced, there was an anthem, especially in the trailer, when you see Prithviraj walking with that police station. Police station was a government office or something, right? It's on fire, and he's walking, and the music comes in. Janagana Mana, that music comes in. They call it the Janagana Mana anthem. That anthem is only played in the introduction. After that, it's missing. There were several moments. Like I said, the dialogues are certain. The questions they're asking, it's very, it invokes an emotional reaction in you as a viewer. Several people actually, kind of burst out clapping in certain scenes. And I get it, it's very heavy, some of the content discussed here. So this Janagana Mana music would have been great in those scenes, and I really missed it. I kept expecting them to play it now. They didn't play that. I was like disappointed. Come on, this scene demands it. That's the way I was thinking. Another small issue I felt was that there are various court scenes in this movie, and they heavily dramatized, and I get it, it's a movie, they have to dramatize it a little bit, but there are certain portions, the storytelling is really good, so you tend to kind of ignore certain aspects of it, certain aspects of certain scenes, but at certain point, when you're watching the story play out and how the arguments are being made, at certain point, at certain points it becomes too cinematic. But because the situation demands a certain emotion from the audience, I don't think many people will pay attention to it, because like I said, it's riveting storytelling. You cannot ignore the way they've told the story and how certain dialogues capture certain emotions. It was just electrifying. There's no other word for it. My rating for this movie is 4 out of 5. This could arguably be Malayalam's best socio-political thriller with riveting storytelling and fantastic performances. Every Indian citizen above the age of 18 should see this movie. That's my review. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up icon, and of course subscribe to my channel for more reviews. Thank you for watching. Bye.